Hello, parasocial besties. How's it going? How's your week? Last week we actually did have someone comment how their week went, and I loved that. You let me know if you want your comment to be on blast. I would love to share the good news. Ooh, and I got new jewelry. Anna Luisa, baby girl. I've been wearing my jewelry for the past 2 weeks. Do you see any green? No tarnishing, nothing. The only green you'll see is the green in your bank account. That's because these little guys start at $39. They're super affordable, and they use 100% recycled gold and silver. Couldn't tell you why, but anything made with a recycled product, I'm in. I love recycled products. I love the idea that someone's grandma's necklaces have been melted down and now I'm wearing them on my neck, getting her supreme girl boss energy. And you have me all the way fricked up if you think that I don't have a cart full of things that I'm ready to purchase right now on payday. These are things I can actually afford though, so I'm gonna be looking real glam and real put together real shortly here. I plan on buying my Willow's equally hot sister, the Willow Silver. I'm getting my high shine bundle for my partner, and you bet your buns I'm getting the birthstone charm. $65 for solid gold, and I already know the pearl's gonna be great, because guess who's been rocking pearls on her bracelet for the past 2 weeks? Me. And it's my birthday in like 2 more weeks. Maybe I can get that to match my little necklace that I just got. I know that when I order my Anna Luisa, they're gonna be in my grubby little paws ASAP because I live in America. But if you don't live in America, that's totally chill because they have affordable worldwide shipping. I also know that if I need it, I have a 2-year warranty on these, and that's also a really good thing because I do tend to run into things like a lot. Even while snagging this guy on just about everything in my house, going strong. Look, you can see the little chub indent. I'm pulling. I'm thick and she's strong. Speaking of being thick, they're fat neck friendly. I was genuinely concerned that my chubby little neck wouldn't facilitate the wearing of this particular accessory. Do you see her? She's so cute. Ooh, and I also noticed the cutest little darndest detail on my wrist. You literally can't see it, but there's a little diamond in the clasp. I'll take a picture. I'll show you. It's really freaking cute. I was putting it on my wrist today and I was like, well, I'll be damn. I love that. I know that right now it can be extremely difficult to figure out who to shop for. The world is dying and capitalism does not care, but Anna Luisa does. They're climate neutral certified, and they also manage to offset 100% of their carbon footprint. With Father's Day right around the corner, be your own daddy this year and get your jewelry game up. It's actually kind of fun to expand your accessories. Who would have known? Not me, that's for sure. I'm just figuring this out. I'm never gonna shut the hell up about them. They're my new Christmas thing that I'm gonna get all of my family. I'll leave 20% off below. Go be your own daddy. Anna Luisa, thank you for partnering with me on this video. I'll tell you what, those shows about dating and embracing the power dynamic really did a number on the youths back in like the early 2000s. Maybe if we hadn't watched so many, people wouldn't be so susceptible to people like James Charles, who love to use their power to manipulate boys into loving him, whether or not they're straight, whether or not they're of age, doesn't matter. We're gonna be upfront here. I'm gonna be nitpicky. Parasocially, I don't like him. I think he gets away with way too much. He gets way too much credit and lenience from way too many people. I'm not contributing to that. Believe it or not, I do actually have a goal here. Also, I found my Apple Pencil, so you get to deal with me doing my Disney Channel waving. Also, I need it for like my iPad and my notes. So, welcome our new friend, the Apple Pencil. You're gonna be seeing a lot of it, so just get used to her. Doesn't matter, not important. What I won't get distracted by is his freaking apologies that he's always trying to spew, and they rarely have any substance behind them. In fact, I would argue that they never do, considering he's still the same way he's always been, if not worse, because now he has more money and pull. I feel like all these videos that go through the scandals plus the apologies, it's super easy to get distracted by the apologies and be like, well, he said sorry, and give leniency. Not today. We're not doing that here. As I said, he has enough leniency from a million other people, and we're also just gonna kind of go through the controversy and just like the apologies. We don't talk about them. I want to keep it as concise as humanly possible. This is James Charles in under 90 minutes or 60 minutes, depending on how long I yap for. You'll tell by the title. We're gonna scoot all the way back to 2010, where James created his first YouTube channel, Jay's Coding. It was very much an 11-year-old's YouTube channel. He had a lot of cover songs.
Hi everyone, James here. Today I'm gonna sing Cigarette.
Hope you enjoy.
I watched a few videos from this channel, and there was a Sarah Palin video, and the ending I really wasn't expecting.
Good afternoon, America. Sarah Palin here. Happy Halloween to all my fellow Americans, and happy Day of the Dead or whatever to all my Mexican homies out there. I just want to say I hope you all have a wonderful night and get lots and lots of candy, but don't eat too much, kitties, or you'll all be fat, which is a sin. Also, there will be many kids roaming the streets tonight, so please do me a favor and don't get run over. That will be...
Okay, just don't upload it. Literally no one made you do that, but that's such an 11-year-old thing to do. That channel ended up dying, and he ended up moving over to another one, which was James Charles with 2 S's, and now it's a profile picture of Kendall Jenner.
Hey guys, it's Friday and you know what that means. Woohoo! Our last word of the day is ratchet.
Can you use that in a sentence?
Ooh, girl, that weave look ratchet!
My first thought was it was a negative word, ratchet. It looks nasty.
Ratchet is like bad.
Ratchet means nasty, doesn't look good.
Yeah, please thumbs up and subscribe.
Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and you're a swag person.
Despite being like the most dramatic and theatrical choir kid ever, he was so awkward in front of the camera. And I also know he was like a fetus at the time, so I guess that makes sense. Everyone has to start somewhere.
Ratchet!
It's just really funny to look back on. Also, somehow he was already good friends with Tana Mojo, even though he had just created his account.
I also just want to say thank you for 100 subscribers. Wow.
I guess they were on the come up together, but it's kind of funny now because James would for sure collapse Tana's trachea given the first opportunity.
A few nights ago, I was talking to my good friend Tana, who
Put a name on your head and you have to guess who it is.
Tana Mojo.
Okay, how did you know that?
If I took your phone right now and looked at your Google search history, it would be, who does James Charles have beef with?
It's really hard not to get distracted by watching all of his old stuff, especially because they're really short. But I did watch a few, and I have a few notes from some specific moments in these videos. For example, his Black Friday video. That's the video that I realized he has always been painfully out of touch. He was talking about going into the store with hundreds of dollars in his pocket.
honestly, all of the deals kind of sucked. Like, I brought my wallet with me ready to spend hundreds of dollars.
And he's also always been the drama. He was all pissed off that he didn't get in a fist fight with another youth over a puffer jacket at Dick's.
Dick's. Buying a new coat. Another boy actually grabbed it at the same time as me from the other side of the rack. At this point, my heart was racing. I was thinking, this is the moment. This is the moment I'm going to fight someone. I'm going to inject a black eye upon someone's face.
Maybe I'm taking him too seriously, but you're the one who posted it, sister, so I'm gonna rip it up. It only took until 2014 for him to like publicly loud, out, and proud on his Twitter post something creepy. He said, "Attractive straight boys will be the death of me." And that's just what he decided to post publicly. You know he's talking about stuff like this behind the scenes, especially if you do go back and watch some of his older videos. There's one with him and his friend where they're doing that whisper challenge thing. It was extremely revealing to see who he surrounded himself with at the time. The girl was also probably his age, so like, I don't know who she is and how she is now, but their character at the time was very interesting. She didn't necessarily seem to be the one who would kind of check him for saying something rude, and I doubt any of his friends were. And in August of 2015, he ended up making his Instagram because he was like, well, I have plenty of clientele that I really want to show off my makeup skills to. So he made his Instagram, and he didn't really post a lot about himself for like a while. He would just do his friend's makeup and upload it there to be like, look at my skills. And then one day he got ballsy and ended up posting his makeup for like a Halloween skeleton. That just did it for him. After that, it was off to the races for James Charles. Did you know he'd only been practicing makeup for like a year before all of this? And now he's like stupid successful. I'm only a little lot bitter. And then, not even a year after creating his first Instagram, he made his new YouTube. It only took him like a year of being on the internet to get catapulted into fame, and now arguably infamy. At that time, he was 17, and he had 427,000 followers on his Instagram. And you know what? I do kind of blame Zendaya for this, because he had posted that, and Zendaya was like, ooh, retweet, you win. Zendaya, girl, I just want to talk. I understand you didn't know that he was a little monster back then, but now you do. Put it back in Pandora's box, please. Actually, this ring light thing is our first controversy, so let's get into that. It's so crazy because like the reason he started working for CoverGirl, the reason he got mainstream famous and wound up on Ellen was because of this ring light photo. And he wasn't even going to say anything. He was just letting everyone believe that it was true. Until his ex-friend in 2017 came out named Thomas Halpert, and he blew the lid off James's can. And looking back, yeah, they're so obviously photoshopped. He even did that Gen X mom eye edit thing. Look at his eyes, they're so white and pure. And that's just not how a human nose looks. He completely got rid of the bone. He's missing the whole supportive structure of his little nose, and we all just let him get away with it. Okay, hi guys, I had to jump in because I'm cracking up. I was looking for a picture to be all dramatic with my comparison to James Charles, but sure enough, if you scroll to the bottom of this article, he's right there, subjected to the exact same criticism that I was just talking about. Where's his nose bone? Why is it missing? Okay, bye. I will say that he looks more alarmed in his yearbook photo, so I could see why he wouldn't want to use it. James had just gotten famous and already was kicking off his entire career with racism. He tweeted, "I can't believe we're going to Africa today. Oh my god, what if we get Ebola?" James, we're fine. We could have gotten it at Chipotle last year. First off, the word I think you're looking for is E. coli, James. It's not Ebola. Those are two very different things. Just because they start with the same letter does not make them the same. Not to mention, Ebola wasn't even prevalent in South Africa at that time where he was going with his friends on a field trip. So he posted this ignorant tweet to his giant platform of children, turned off his phone, and sat pretty while everyone freaked out at him while he was on his plane. Once everyone started getting real pissed off, he posted what was definitely a 17-year-old's idea of an apology. It was super self-centered. It wasn't very good. But I do have a few key takeaways that I want to touch on. At one point, he said, I recognize my position as an influencer, and I know that it is so important to be a positive role model for all. Bitch, where? Which is so funny because then moving forward from this, in the future, he'll be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I didn't know the impact I had. Yes, the fuck you did. Don't lie. You knew at 17, we have you in 4K. Anyway, CoverGirl released a lukewarm tweet about it and continued to work with him, so like whatever, who cares. This wasn't enough to cancel him yet. And then in November, he was kind of forced to make another apology because people wouldn't shut the hell up about his racist past, because like he's always been this way. It was just a longer non-apology. Really nothing to write home about. At one point, he literally says,
there is no amount of time that can pass and no amount of age that excuses racism or any sort of shitty tweet, and I'm not making any excuses for my actions.
And then in the next breath makes up like 4 excuses.
That being said, they were posted a long time ago and I have grown so much as a person since then, and I'm not the same person today that I was 5 years ago. And I realize that I'm a role model for many people and I want to use my platform to spread positivity.
5 years later.
Block me then, fatty.
And it's so annoying because he does this over and over and over. It's fucking Groundhog's Day. September, we have the It sit-in.
Hiya sisters, James Charles here and welcome back to my YouTube channel.
James Charles had a public beef with a child. Did you know that? 8 whole years ago, the movie It Chapter 1 came out. James decided to go see it and then make it everybody else's problem. For whatever reason, he was live reacting the entire time, and like 5 minutes in, he was sat there like, oh, I hate it. I'm bored. This movie isn't that scary. So then one of the main actors, Finn, the little guy from Stranger Things, he was kind of pissed. So then he tweeted back and he said, why are you on your phone in the movie theater? Rule 1. People were getting pissed at James, and that's like music to James's ears. That's free advertising, girl boss. So then James doubled down and he tweeted, why am I being attacked for saying I didn't like a movie? LMFAO, y'all need to find something better to do with your lives. He truly is so super sensitive. And then a few weeks later, he drops the friggin' Pennywise video. He's so smart and he's so evil. It's so frustrating.
I know everybody's gonna say that this is the most hypocritical, ironic video of 2017 so far, and you're probably right. It'll be way too good of an opportunity to pass up.
It was a small thing and everyone got over it pretty quickly. However, to me, it just shows what kind of person James is. He's super chill with making himself look dumb as hell in order to get that bag. He knew it would piss people off by posting Pennywise, but he also knew that more people would be okay with him than not. His supporters emboldened the hell out of him. I feel like you have to turn off a little part of your brain that's vital for empathizing with other people's discomfort. And he acts like he's so self-aware and grown. I just have such a hard time believing it when he does shit like this. Like, it's petty and silly and small, but it really just gets worse from here. You're so lucky we're only in 2017. Just you wait. I feel like if he ever truly learned, we wouldn't be here talking about him. Oh god, okay. So in October, he sexually harassed Shawn Mendes on IG Live. Ooh, who's surprised? James had already kind of had a record of being a creepy little guy on the internet, but then he took it to a whole new level with Shawn Mendes when he was just doing his juggling bit live. Leave him alone, let him juggle. But James said no. So he hopped in the comment and said, can you juggle me like that? I feel like this got blown out of proportion in terms of the rumor mill, but as far as severity, I do feel like it really blurs a line when it comes to consent and sexual harassment online. I've heard people say, well, Shawn's on the internet, so it's fine. Like, he knew what he was getting himself into. Yeah, and it's also not in a sexual context. He wasn't on OnlyFans live streaming his butthole. He was juggling in his kitchen. Leave him alone. I guess Shawn kind of felt bad for James and he reached out and was like, no man, we're chill. It's fine. It's good. And so James took a screenshot and he's like, see, look, we're fine. I guess if Shawn's okay, then who am I to tell him not to be okay and to be all pissed off? I'll be pissed off for you, Shawn, because I think that's super gross. Especially when we get into James's non-apology tweet. I'm just reading the first part because I think it's the most relevant. My comments on Friends and Boys content have always been lighthearted and in a joking manner. It's very much giving, God, can't you take a joke? I was just kidding. What would James have said if Shawn never came forward? Do you think he ever would have said anything and actually owned up to what he did? No, because he doesn't see it as being gross and weird. And even though he did see that it was gross and weird and people told him it was gross and weird, just you wait till we get to the Sister Squad because he never fucking learned. And you're gonna find out real quick with the Dolan twins that that is so true. James says sorry and then says, oh, just kidding, and keeps it moving. Here's another example of what an entitled little brat James is. So he used to do a bunch of collabs back when he was relevant and people actually kind of liked him, or at least weren't afraid to collab with him. So he's doing a collab with Shane and Ryland and they're like, who's the rudest celebrity you ever met? And he said, easy peasy bitch, Ariana Grande. He was all pissed off that she unfollowed him, but why, James? You want to get in the nuance of the situation, sister? Of course not. He just makes it seem like Ariana was a bitch. She only followed him for 3 hours before her fans made really short work of James. But But it just goes to show that he doesn't think he did anything wrong. He's apologized about his past, but the reason Ariana stopped following him was because her fans were like, hey, he's gross, he's a creep, he's for sure racist. The list goes on. What do you need to hear, Ariana? But that's all she needed to hear, and she unfollowed him, and that apparently made James decide that she was the worst person on the planet. She's public enemy number one. She's on his shit list, and I doubt she even knows it. James acts like Ariana was being a sheeple for this, but I just think she was being receptive. Taking in account time to grow, I think it's really important to not platform shitty people like James, and Ariana knows that, or at least her fans knew that, and she just listened and unfollowed him. Why in the world would she want to follow him after all he's done, and he just got famous? Things are not boding well for our sister. It's 2018 and we've been here for like 15 minutes. So long story short, there was a woman. Her name was Marlena Stell. She created Makeup Geek. That company has its own controversies. She has her own controversies and we're not going to get into it. But because of all that controversy, because of her name, because of just everything she's contributed to the beauty space, Marlena was asked to be in a Netflix docuseries about the beauty space. And James was pissed. He straight up calls Marlena out and says this woman knows nothing about the industry other than blaming her bad business decisions and personal issues on influencers at Netflix. This is absurd, and I'd love to get in a room together to show you the non-biased outline I've made on the subject that documents all sides. And then wouldn't you know it, he deleted the tweet. Marlena humbled the hell out of him, and he still got the last word, so I feel like to him he thought he won, but no. In my heart, Marlena won. I feel like this instance just goes to show what an arrogant little shit he kind of is. And ever since being on the internet, he's kind of always been this way. He seems to feel like he's owed a lot when you quite literally deserve nothing, when all you've done is cause trauma to a lot of boys. Actually, what you deserve is a prison sentence, sir. We haven't gotten there yet. Give it like 5 more minutes. April 2019 was an extremely interesting time for James. And also at about that time, he decided, fuck it, it's time to go on Sisters Tour. Enough people liked him again. Why shouldn't he charge $500 per VIP ticket to sit in a room with him? There were other perks too, like discounted merch and whatever, but let's be honest, the real pull for a lot of these sisters was to go backstage with him. Do you want to see what was happening backstage? No.
Listen, I am alone at a crossroad.
No shade to the girl, she was killing it. Lil Sylvie, on the other hand, needs to chill out.
Bring me a little water, Sylvie.
She got louder, so did he. Go watch her video because it's unintentionally hilarious, and also, I don't know, maybe she can get paid a little bit for the video. So $500, I feel as though I didn't give an appropriate response to that number initially. Because everyone was flipping out, James was like, okay, sorry, and posted a tweet where he said, to clarify, I begged my team to change prices, but because of contracts with venues, it was not possible. Instead, I made sure meet and greet was more accessible and ensured that the highest ticket was worth the price. I'm sorry I can't make everyone happy. I'm trying my best. It's really hard not to be mocking and use my boohoo voice with him. He's just such a boohoo baby. I don't know, maybe just find more accessible venues? I cannot imagine what James Charles has to offer that would make it worth $500, but then again, I'm not a sister. I just feel like there are very few people who would pay $500 to hang out near with like 30 other sweaty preteens. Especially now, considering I'm like 30. I don't want to be anywhere near a preteen, thank you. After he apologized and lowered the ticket prices and made it so that the lowest entry point was only $52 for a ticket, he still had $500 for the most expensive tickets. But you could also choose to pay $52 to watch him fight the air. Till he got to Albany, at which point he decided, I'm over it, and he canceled his tour. He was in the midst of controversy. He truly did not need this on his record, and yet here we are. He made it clear that it was his choice, and he was not dropped by other companies. So long story short, play shitty games, get shitty prizes. Now we're getting to what I think is some of the worst. This is like the beginning of the worst in my opinion. And it starts with a boy named Gage Gomez. So in January 2019, James and Gage had started talking. They were just casually texting. Gage was trying to figure out his sexuality. He was still young, but of consenting age this time. Gage was a model and he had a really good following on Instagram. He in his own right had a decent amount of fame and social presence. So yeah, having James obviously would help his career, and it also wasn't necessary. He was good on his own. And that's important to mention. So him and James are texting for like 4 or 5 months-ish, and then Coachella shows up. But right after Coachella, I guess Gage had been like, I'm not really feeling it, so like, I gotta go. But James had gotten in his big feelings, and when someone was like, oh my god, do you have a boyfriend? After seeing a picture of them together, he got really pissy and basically posted, no, I keep getting played by boys, and throwing a full-blown bitch fit online. Again, he deleted it pretty quickly because it's James and that's just what he does. He's a tweet and delete kind of sister. And he kind of called Gage a disgusting con artist, so Gage was like, oh, really? Is that so? Cool. At which point, Gage made his own YouTube channel with express purpose of showing James's ass. Hypothetically, of course, if you want to see James's ass, it's really not hard to find. Gage was like, fuck off. I'm an actual model, not a clout chaser. Can you not? Not to mention the fact that Gage had initially allegedly said no to James twice when James was like, go to Coachella with me. Gage is like, nah, I'm chilling. Thanks though. Obviously he ended up going, but it took 2 stabs. And then Gage uploads another video. He pulls the old and another thing. But in Gage's second video, he kind of exposed a lot of James's most nasty traits and kind of who he is in general. Gage's allegations were proven with leaked texts, allegedly, assuming they weren't photoshopped. Like, James is just so fucking gross, and him arguing with Gage in the text is extra nasty. You just made me think you liked me. And Gage is like, sister, I told you from day one that I'm a questioning queer. Ultimately, Gage did decide that at that moment what felt correct for him was straight, and now we're getting into Dramageddon. This one's really rough. I already made a little video about Dramageddon, but what you really need to know is that during Tati's original video that she uploaded, her Bi Sisters video, she brings up James's love of straight boys and that he tends to use his fame and notoriety and money to get what he wants out of them. Or at least he tries his darndest. And wouldn't you know it, Jeffree Star's there. They tweeted, there's a reason Nathan banned James Charles from ever coming over to our home again. There's a reason why I haven't seen him since Tati's birthday in February. He's a danger to society. Everything Tati said is 100% true. So then because of this, James comes back with his No More Lies video, which again, we're not getting into. I'll put his text post apologies up. You can pause to read if you want. We're just not giving him any goodwill and credit in this video. Remember, don't forget. Fuck your apologies. Right now, they mean nothing in my opinion. Luckily for James, he decided to get his head out of his ass and make another video. And this one he called No More Lies, and he actually cleared up a lot. I really feel like this video exonerated him to a lot of people, unfortunately. I still think the apology sucked, but most people do not and will not agree with me. It's just exhausting to break down every single apology this man has. He's just gonna shit all over it anyway. Hopefully one day he changes. I just think it's really pointless to dissect his apologies at this point in his life. The lack of accountability didn't stop there. He did pull out receipts to be like, look, Tati is a dumb flop. Here are my receipts as to why I'm right. Leave me alone. But he really glossed over the sexual abuse allegations, which is kind of what I wanted to hear about. I don't really give a shit about your stupid little gummies. I want to know why you think it's appropriate to say what you do on boys' Instagrams, especially when they're straight. This is just a silly little one, but it's funny because he'd posted after going to the Met Gala something to the extent of, oh my god, thank you for platforming influencers. I'm sorry, as if you don't get enough attention. I want him to look me in the eye and explain to me what he means when he says that influencers need more representation. Because if you'd look to your left, Emma Chamberlain's there. She's on the red carpet all the time interviewing people. She's very much represented, and a lot of influencers are, so I need you to chill out, James. Oh, but speaking of Emma Chamberlain, we're gonna talk about the Sister Squad. Let's go back real quick and talk about them because you kind of do need to know who and what they are. So the Sister Squad consisted of 4 kids: Ethan Dolan, Grayson Dolan, Emma Chamberlain, and James Charles. It just exploded after they became the Sister Squad for like a week before James fucked that one up too. So I guess James had precipitated everything by posting gross and thirsty comments on the Dolan twins pages. Grayson ended up reaching out to James and was like, hey sister, how's it going? And James gladly took that in. So they started talking, getting to know each other. Meanwhile, Ethan had discovered Emma and thought her Twitter was funny, so he decided that he wanted to be friends with her. So it's kind of how everyone came together. The Dolan twins kind of facilitated a lot of it, as it turns out, but they were racking up the views. I'm pretty sure it was Dramageddon 2 that really neutralized everything for the Sister Squad. Once word got out that James was an actual confessed predator, they were like, oop, bye. And after everything happened with James, they really did try to recapture the magic, but it just like was not the same. And the same thing ended up happening when he made some other squad with Charlie D'Amelio, Dixie D'Amelio's boyfriend. There were a few other TikTokers there. That one also lasted like 3 seconds before it got blown up. Thanks, James. I didn't even put it in the notes because I was like, it's kind of irrelevant. It's just another group that James ruined. And it all kind of ended the same way. James ended up doing something stupid and everyone else was like, oh, you do suck. And so they bailed out before their reputations got ruined. And honestly, it really should have been over before it started when it came to the Sister Squad. The reason it started was because James was thirsting over straight boy Grayson. The only thing separating James from being creepy and weird doing this in the public eye is money and age. I feel like if James were a aging man with 3 hairs left on his head and a beer gut and like $3 to his bank account, everyone would be like, ew, ew, you're being weird. Don't tell Shawn Mendes to juggle your balls. But James does it, and it's fun and fine and cute and quirky. Show me the logic. It's so weird. April 2020, he did this really weird mugshot challenge, and it was also a stupid thing, but I bring it up because his apology is yet another boohoo wah wah bitch boy moment that really pissed me off. So the mugshot trend was you were supposed to do your makeup to look like you'd gotten in a fight or whatever, and then ended up in the police station. Already, it just goes to show that violence is a joke to him, and I know that's like a very like, oh my god, the sensitive friend. I am the sensitive friend, okay? And I think it's stupid to glorify violence that way. I sound like someone's conservative mom. Why are we glorifying violence and not our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? Now go put your MAGA hats on. We're gonna go make some gay kids cry. Some people were rightfully pissed off that he was making jokes about violence and kind of like making light of it and being like, beauty trend. Even though people were trying to hold him accountable and be like, can you fucking not? Like, this is a weird trend. Why are you doing this? He goes on Twitter and victimizes himself pretty much immediately. He goes, only I could lazily smudge on some purple eyeshadow and fake blood to create a dumb TikTok trend and have it twisted into an actual scandal. Are we seeing a trend here? It's all very, haha, it was just a joke. But if people aren't laughing, it's not a joke. Or at least it's not a very good one. And then there was also the voicemail incident. We're gonna gloss over this one because it has more to do with Jeffrey than it does James. It's just kind of important because Jeffrey alleges that this is evidence that James did sexually harass a young boy. There's speculation on who the voicemail belongs to. We're not gonna get into it. Long story short, what you need to know is that Jeffrey was lording a voicemail over everybody's head. He was saying that he had proof that James had sexually harassed a boy because of the voicemail, because it was said on the voicemail. I don't know. Call me crazy. I don't think that's a good thing to do. I don't care if it would damn him. That's not your evidence to be throwing around, Jeffrey. I also have my own personal conspiracy theory that the voicemail is faked and Jeffrey just paid one of his friends $20 to do it. I think it would just be easier for me to believe that it was fake and it was one of Jeffrey's friends and that Jeffrey isn't such a piece of shit that he would use this person's trauma as a game piece. To this day, Jeffrey's never released the memo, but he has shown it to a good amount of people. More people than is appropriate because any more than one is inappropriate. Then in June, after everything had kind of started to calm down, Dramageddon was dead. She was a distant memory from like last year. Tati decided it was actually way too quiet in the beauty community and it was time to kick some stuff up. Despite already talking to James behind the scene, Tati made Breaking My Silence. Couldn't tell you why. If it was already handled behind the scene, I do not see the purpose in exonerating James because to me it just makes everything worse. I'd be so mad if one of my friends that I was in a controversy brought it up 1 year later, especially when I thought it was all figured out. Like maybe James knew. I don't know. She really should have kept her friggin' mouth shut because it just made her life more difficult. It made Jeffrey and Shane's life more difficult. I feel like Tati's kind of the reason that everyone's career died, except for James. I think she's actually the reason his career flourished at this point. Long story short of that video, she said that she was manipulated by Shane and Jeffrey. She apologized to James for starting everything and handling everything the way she did in the past. But it's also kind of stupid because, like, girl, you knew allegedly that he was a predator creep. I feel like we let Tati off a little easy on this one because, like, she kind of said with her whole chest that she knew James was a weirdo and that this was kind of something that he already does, is either prey on straight men or talk to underage young boys. Tati, girl, why are we defending him? And then going out of our way a year later to be like, oop, my bad. Everyone stop being mad at James now. Also, I don't know if you guys remember what was happening at that time. There was a little thing called COVID going around. I don't know if you recall. My pupper remembers. Well, he would if COVID didn't eliminate him, but fuck him, right? Because James needed a party with his friends. I cannot talk about this long because it will make me rage cry. But long story short, James and his friends were being ignorant little shits, going out and coughing in each other's mouths at these big old mansion parties with their friends. And this isn't just a James exclusive. It just, he did it and it shows what kind of person he is. Him and his friends were being unempathetic little freaks and possibly spreading COVID to other people, and maybe other people's papas were out there dying. All because they wanted to go inhale each other's microbes. He apologized. There's no justification for that. I do not know how the people who handled COVID so fucking poorly can sleep at night. Not to mention his apology wasn't even a standalone video. It was tucked in some bullshit vlog he did. Ooh, actually that does piss me off. Fuck off, James. In what I am convinced was another PR stunt from James by James, Kris Jenner style. In April of 2021, April 1st to be exact, he uploaded Holding Myself Accountable. This is one of the videos where he tries to claim ignorance with how he has such a power imbalance with these boys. He's already said he understands he has an unfair power imbalance. Way back when he was 17, he's known it since day one. So now that he's like, I actually didn't know, so you can't be mad at me, and I'm also young. So for weeks he had been ducking and weaving through the public with his controversies, and then when he uploaded this video, he finally was like, Okay, yeah. Listen, here's the thing. I did actually do that with those boys. So anyway, nothing happened. He admitted to crime with his full chest. Where are his handcuffs? Where is his ankle monitor? What is going on? I really don't know why we're doing a tea video and not a true crime video. This is definitely illegal. And I know I'm ignorant. I just don't understand why after he admitted to doing an illegal thing, he can't be held accountable. When someone gets got, the state holds the getter responsible. You know what I mean? Because no one else is going to do it. That person got got. So why can't the same thing be held true when it has to do with someone who has openly admitted to it, but the victims just don't want to come forward? They don't want to drag themselves through this, but someone needs to be held accountable. I don't know. Someone smarter than me, someone who's a lawyer. Tell me why. Like, if I think about it for more than a second, it kind of makes sense. And it also doesn't make sense to me if the perpetrator said that they did the thing, but okay, sure. He's not in prison. He's not in jail. No one gives a fuck, apparently. After that video was released, YouTube demonetized him for like 3 seconds, but it didn't do anything anyway. He has so much merch and so much other shit that he sells. You're not going to stop him with demonetizing his YouTube channel at this point. We're almost to the end. In May of 2021, guess who got their little ass sued? James Charles. For unrelated reasons, though. This is just because he's kind of a shit person and a shit boss, allegedly, apparently. Long story short, there was a girl named Kelly Rockland who had worked for him for like 6 months. While Kelly was around James Charles one time, she slipped, fell, smacked her head, got a concussion. He was there. He saw everything. And at that point, she was under immense amounts of stress because James had promoted her. But when he promoted her from editor to producer and gave her more responsibilities, he didn't think to hire another editor, so now she was just doing editing and producing and everything else all on her own. She said she was working 7 days a week, 12-hour days. So then she falls and hits her head and she gets a concussion, and God forbid she needs 7 days. She's trying to recover. But James didn't care because then she came back to work in September 2018. Hi, so my microphone stopped working. I'm gonna finish that sentence and then I'm just gonna wrap the video up. There really wasn't a lot left anyway. So she comes back in September of 2018 and she's fired. No ifs, ands, or buts. No negative performance feedback, nothing. She's just fired allegedly out of the blue. And so she's like, what the fuck is that about? And so she sued him, thank God. And then James got really pissed off and posted this 8-minute video where he was pissing and moaning and really upset because he's like, why is she taking the time to attack me now when everything else is going wrong? And it's like, obviously she would. She feels safe. Other people are coming out too. She kind of has more people to bolster her claims. Whereas before, in the past, when people would come up against James, they would get absolutely throttled on the internet and completely ruin their reputation. So to me, it makes more than sense that she would not want to do anything to rock the boat until other people are coming out talking about it. He somehow managed to stay low for the last few years. I mean, he had his little controversies here and there, just silly little stupid things, but the most recent one that he's been in is actually a really, really bad one. He's done worse, but this one's just kind of a moment where you just raise your eyebrows and you're like, what the fuck were you thinking? So there was a girl, her name was Kayla Malik, and she was in a really, really abusive relationship with her ex-boyfriend, Evan Johnson. You should just go watch her 2-part series about it. They're called He Doesn't Love You, part 1 and part 2. They get really heavy, so just be aware of what you're getting yourself into. But anyway, he had texted Kayla to see if she wanted to do an ad with her and her boyfriend, and she was like, hey, lol, we just broke up, and also he's fucking insane, and also I'm gonna make like a 32-part series as to why he's crazy. And James was like, Soleil, anyway, can I have him? And it's like, girl, she just told you that she needs to make a 30-part series about why this guy's a demon. What makes you think that he's an appropriate person to go after? Alright, it's just a weird thing to do. And now we're in June of 2025, and so far he's been pretty quiet this month. We're only 8 days in, so we'll see. And hopefully I won't have to make any other videos about him because, oh my god, I'm exhausted. Thinking about this human being is taking years off of my life. Don't forget, get your 20% off with Luisa in the link below. And I'll see you guys next week. Okay, bye.